Guess who's back in the building again? It's me, your most annoying friend. Oh boy, that was a hell of an intro.
The cat next door.
Yeah. Yeah, you park in my driveway, I'm calling the law.
Hey, better not park on my grass.
Welcome back, y'all. Hashtag Cut Different on all platforms, all streaming, and all social media. It's your boy G in here again, and I got my man with me.
What's going on, bro? It's Ty. We back. We back. Blessed to be here. We back.
Yeah. How y'all doing? So, today's episode is about stuff. What stuff we gonna talk about, bro?
I mean, a couple of different topics, you know.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
A lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff that's happened. A lot of events that's occurred, man. And, you know, some unfortunate news there. Unfortunately, I think that we all, you know, was unexpectedly, it hit us all unexpectedly.
Is it unexpected? Yeah. So let's get right into it.
Let's get into it.
Takeoff. Reported that he was at a bowling event with Jay Prince Jr. Out of Houston. In Houston. And they were playing dice outside the bowling alley instead of bowling.
It was inside the facility, but they was
outside the bowling.
They was outside the bowling area, but it's like it was inside the bowl. Yeah.
It was like a mall place, and unfortunately, Takeoff's life was taken. There's a lot of different stories on what actually happened, and it's unfortunate. It made me sad immediately. Like, again?
Yeah, likewise.
Again?
I was like, yeah, man.
Like, come on, man.
At the peak of his career, you know what I'm saying? You know,
he's 28.
28. And that was the part that was so sad, and was that, like, dude, you just now started really getting a taste of living. Like, regardless of all those experiences and things that you've done, you really haven't lived yet, because the longevity part, you dig what I'm saying? So much knowledge and experience you get, you know, you get from that. Mm-hmm. And it was unfortunate it was cut short.
Yeah, that's a big rest in peace, rest in heaven, rest on, live long,
rest in power,
afterlife,
rest in power.
Yeah, that was unfortunate to hear. And social media, when it came to that, so Gilly said something about the footage that most of us saw.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I watched it, and I hate that
image.
I seen that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I'm tired of that. You know, I got caught off guard with the Nipsey thing.
Yeah,
I got caught off with the King Von thing.
Right.
And I'm tired of seeing it.
Yeah, man.
Tired of seeing it. And it's like the black community, wherever we're at, when we're together, that's our community. Because we don't have one anymore.
We gotta build it back up, man. Yeah. And I think it's a lot of people that's out there that want it and that believe in what we do, that just gotta figure out how we're gonna go about doing it. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we gotta work on, is not accepting that this is just the reality. It is what it is, but find a way for us to come together to change the narrative. And I think that by us doing that will help start the change, man. But this reality that we seeing right now, we can't accept it, man. It's too much of an impact it has on our community, towards our kids, towards the adults, just towards the whole, just everything, man. And it's unfortunate, man, because for what they said about his character, real solid cat, quiet, wanted to be behind the scenes, wasn't into too much of anything, didn't have any issues with anybody, you know. But again, it's just so unfortunate that happened.
Yeah. And I felt that when I heard that part of his personality, it resonated with me.
Right.
I remember when I was trying to be out there, that's what a lot of people would have said about me. I played the background. I wasn't really like out there like that. I was, you know, quiet, cool, in the cut.
Right.
And for somebody like that to still be in the mix and that happened to them, It's like, geez, man. Like, what misses are our kids getting right now?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? What it mean to be a rapper?
Right.
You know what I mean? Do we have to do what we doing? I look at people like Will Smith, Ludacris, LL Cool J.
Mm-hmm.
These are artists that aren't associated with the streets. And nothing happens to them in that manner. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then also, too, they conduct themselves a certain type of way, too. And ain't to say that he brought that energy upon them, but they move a certain type of way, too, man. I think that it's important that...
Did they not bring that energy upon them? Because I've never listened to Migos.
So, here's the thing. They talked about certain things, but I ain't never known them to be a person that said, well, they were just gangster rappers.
Every song I heard was talking about choppers.
I mean, they bring it up, but that's just what these kids are talking about now, man. It doesn't make it right to talk about it, no. Here's my take on it. Will Smith, Ludacris, these different people that you brought up, one thing that they do is that they don't go to certain areas or certain locations. They don't go to those places no more. They're too big for that. There's too much of a risk behind that. Mm. You dig what I'm saying? You don't hear Will Smith going out to clubs. You don't hear Ludacris going out to clubs. If he does, he's going to a real upscale club.
I've heard of them going to clubs.
Yeah, but they go to real but I'm talking about as of now. We're not talking about back then, because when they was young and say 28 years old, at that time, the times was different, man. The times was different, man. Now, these young cats, they don't care. They'll pull a gun out and shoot and then ask questions, or may not even ask questions, just to shoot, and then post it on the gram. You know what I'm saying? So, at this point, unfortunately, the day and time, especially for rappers, especially what we're living in, they don't need to be outside like that as far as in them clubs and venues like that. It ain't worth it, because there's a target. It's almost like it's a bounty. It's a bounty. It's almost like a bounty, dog. Even regardless if a takeoff situation was an accident or not, there's been other situations of rappers getting killed, and then other people people on the social media is just talking about it, like it's clout, like it's cool.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but I can think of times that I've seen footage of like Will in the club somewhere that looks a little seedy, Ludacris somewhere that looks a little seedy. If that ain't, that's not their subject line, so they don't attract that type of audience. You know what I mean?
But their group is so big and well versed that everybody likes them. It ain't just like gangsters that just like Migos. They have a genre where they have the white kids, the high school kids, the rich kids. Like, everybody loves Migos.
And all of their listeners, a majority, I won't say all, but a majority of their listeners have ambitions to be what they put in their lyrics.
But I guess for me, what I'm saying is just, and that is true. You're absolutely correct on that. I'm with you on that. I just feel like that when you're on your free time, just be mindful of where you're going and the type of energy and the type of people it's going to attract. We have to be aware of that. Yeah. There's awareness with that.
What
okay?
you rap about is art going to imitate life at some point.
Yeah.
You know, a life going to imitate art at some point. Should I say it that way? That right there, every song I heard trying to hear why they was, because all over social media they had like Takeoff's best verses. And I swear, I was listening to it, and out of respect, certain things I won't say about what I heard. But what I heard was a bunch of violence in the lyrics. A bunch of things that I hear like young boys talk about, or so-called street dudes talk about. And I'm like, well, if you out in the streets and somebody see you getting mad, I'm remembering the lyrics that you rap. So automatically I need to feel like you're like me. You about that. So if I feel like you about that and I'm about that, if you say something to me or you look at me a certain way, I need to take you down. Because I think you're going to take me down if you had an opportunity. You wouldn't let me say nothing like that to you. You wouldn't let me look at you like that without repercussion. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, man. I definitely see your point of view of that. I definitely do. You know, you got some cats that would take it like, okay, well, we get into altercation, and they really taking into what the lyrics that person is saying, then they can look at them as a threat.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you are a legit threat, and that may not be who they are. Truly in the real life, that may not be who they are. This is maybe music, but some people don't know that. And you're right. You have to be careful of the information and the lyrics that you're putting out there, because there is power in words, and there's power in the words of the tongue. Absolutely, I do believe.
Them boys grew up in Lawrenceville.
I get that. I feel you on that. But I
ain't saying there ain't no real quote. I don't even want to get like to that. I ain't saying there ain't nothing real over there in Lawrenceville. I ain't talking about every single person in Lawrenceville. I don't know where you came from. But what I'm saying is,
it definitely gets something to go down over there.
It's the suburbs, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's the burbs. They have more of a lot of breaking and entering and stuff like that. But, you know, again,
just like any suburb.
Anything can happen. Anywhere you can go, it can happen. I just don't feel like at the end of the day that I just hate that it happened to him, because I hate that happened to him.
It's happening to all our kids.
It's happening to a lot of them. It's unfortunate that it happened, because it really messed up my mood, dog. It messed up my mood.
Yeah.
I looked at the first thing I looked at on my phone after I did my affirmation and stuff, or whatever it was. I pulled up my phone. I looked, and that was the first thing I seen. It showed that his face, and it showed the time he was born, when he transitioned. And I'm like, this is a joke. It was a joke. I had to do research online to see it, and when I seen the footage and the images, and I seen that, I was like, you know what, man, this is crazy, man. And it's just like 28 years old. That's the only thing I can think about. Yeah. Is the fact that he was 28 years old, and dude, like you really don't even really understand life or really begin to take life seriously until you, at least to me, like late 20s or maybe your early 30s.
Yeah.
And this man really never got that chance, and it was taken away from him. Not because he stirred it up, not because he did anything, because it was an unfortunate event that happened, and unfortunately he's a victim of that energy. He was a victim of that energy, and I hate it for him. I hate it. I hate it for any cat, and anybody.
It's an energy that we keep trying to navigate around. Nobody talks about that energy. You know what I mean?
And not being around that energy, man. It's like you have to be away from that energy. I don't care how good of a person you are. If you're in an area, in an environment where there's a lot of bull crap that happens,
mm-hmm.
Don't think that you're so good to the point that that energy still won't catch you.
Yeah.
You can be a victim of the crossfire of that energy being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Something I realized when I was trying to play gangster out there in the street, and I started seeing like stuff really happening.
Mm-hmm.
I started seeing people go to jail. I started seeing homeboys get shot, homeboys get killed,
mm-hmm.
and for me, it was like, but it's so many other things that I want to enjoy. Like, my whole life just can't be about this.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, when you in that world, that's all your life about.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And unfortunately, as much as I want to, and I do feel for Takeoff. I feel for his family.
Absolutely.
His everybody that loved him. I feel for them, and I grieve the loss too, because we don't know what he could have been. We don't know. We don't know what he was what he was going to be in the future. So, for everybody out there that's like still in it, still part of that culture, because that culture isn't our culture. That's a culture that doesn't have a sense of hope. That's what I see in it. When I was out there, we didn't think we can be better than what we were. So when you out here rapping about it and you rolling around in these streets, if that ain't all you see yourself being, get out. Get out. You can walk away.
Stay the hell away from it.
Can't walk away. That was just unfortunate. I mean, you talking about one of the, and his star was still rising.
He was still rising. He just had put out maybe a month, or maybe a month or two, maybe a couple months, a dope little, like, I don't know if it was a freestyle little piece that he had, and then he went, like, it was good, man. The kid has so much potential, man, and it breaks your heart, man. It really breaks your heart, man.
Yeah.
It really breaks your heart.
Yeah.
So something else that I want to talk about, man.
So, but put the button on that. Rest in peace, Takeoff.
Absolutely.
Rest in power.
Rest in power, man.
Rest in power, and shout out to the Migos, man. I don't know y'all, but work it out. Work it out.
Work definitely, especially that situation between him and his Quavo and Offset, and Offset.
Yeah, they just broke up, right?
Yeah, they had like a little situation. I know they broke up, but they had a situation that wasn't nada, and they wasn't, I guess, not on the same page with each other.
Hopefully they get back.
I hope so. I hope so, because life is too short, and it's better to make peace with your brother than go to war with him.
Yeah. That dude Quavo sound like my nephew. Every time I hear him talk or rap, he sound like my nephew.
Yeah, man.
I always got to keep an eye on him anyway.
Yeah.
That voice.
Yeah, man.
So, Kyrie got suspended. Damn, Kyrie.
Kyrie. Now, let's make sure we said that Kyrie.
What did he get suspended for? Because I tried to figure out why he got suspended. Did he just post?
So let me tell you what. So for what I understand, for what I've gathered, is that he posted, pretty much this documentary of
Hebrews to Negroes.
Hebrews to Negroes.
Yeah, that's the title.
And that's all he did was post it. Now, the content in the documentary, for quote unquote, for lack of better words, based upon what society's saying, was that based upon some of the things they were talking about was anti-Semitic. Okay,
anti-Semitic means what?
Like,
you're not sympathetic to Jews.
I mean, and for lack of better words, yeah, you can say that to sum it up.
Yeah.
Or for what I'm gathering, if you're saying anything that goes against what they put out there as the truth, as far as with the Jewish religion and the Jewish culture, and if there's anything that goes against that, then it sounds like they're saying it's anti-Semitic.
Same thing Kanye.
Right. So,
and Dave Chappelle.
Right, and anybody else. So at this point now, that because he posted it on his social media, which is his social media at the end of the day, and he has the right to post it. He's now facing backlash where he's been suspended from the NBA for 5 games, and that now he's losing sponsorships. Nike suspended their relationship with him.
They canceled it.
They canceled it. They canceled it now. It's been canceled.
It's
okay,
canceled.
So for now, I guess now it was canceled. What I seen was suspended.
Damn,
I know
I can't get no more Kyrie.
Yeah, no more Kyries.
They so nice.
It was a shoe that was about to drop. It was about to drop, and they said that they're not even going to drop it. And
ain't nobody missing them shoes though. But go ahead.
They're not missing them, but the point is that they're making a point for what it seemed like they're saying, because he did this, and I guess quote unquote he didn't show any remorse.
I wish black people had whatever Jewish people have, like the National Coalition of like anti-Semitic support, or whatever they have. I think I'm close to the name of it. I'm sure that's not it, but I wish black people had that. Because we don't have that. Our stuff is more documented than anybody. And you can get on social media and say nigga, and F all niggas, and say black men ain't nothing, black women ain't nothing, and you won't get banned.
Not at all. The thing is, it's funny that you said that, because that's been kind of my take. Is like, where is that same energy when it's being portrayed towards black people? Like, if we're going to be that way, let's be that way across the board.
Yeah.
Because even with
the Holocaust was bad.
I mean, don't get it wrong. It was definitely bad. I'm not negating it or trying to downplay it in any type of way. But black folks had their Holocaust too. And we had upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions. There's been no reparation. There's been no type of empathetic about it. If in fact, this whole new race theory thing that they're projecting right now, it's pretty much, it sounds like to me, from what I'm gathering, it's taking away the accountability of what the oppressors did to us, and that we can't talk about it. And I think that at the end of the day, that it can't be where one group of people or groups of people don't take accountability, and that we get all the accountability and then the injustice too as well. And I think that's a huge problem. And I think that that's something that was got to be fixed.
I got a problem with the word itself. Like, when I hear anti-Semitic, I'm like, are they saying, like, that's what I hear. You know, I used to get off on reading the dictionary when I was a kid. So when I hear certain words, I'm like, anti-Semitic. So because you don't have any sympathetic towards an issue like that's a real thing. And I heard it's been around because they tried to attach that to Ice Cube in the past, and he wasn't buying it. He wasn't buying it because he was talking about one guy. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand how if you post something that you watched, and even though there's a responsibility that comes with celebrity, if you post that, you got to be able to stand on that.
Absolutely.
And stand on what, like, did you watch the whole thing? It made me want to watch it to see what they was talking about.
Yeah.
Just like I watched the Candace Owens thing to see what she was talking about when she's, the truth about the movement of Black Lives Matter, where it started with George Floyd. And I remember when that first came, when Black Lives Matter was first the hashtag, and I was looking at it, I was like, I want to join that. I'm black, and Black Lives Matter. So yeah, I want to get behind that. So I went on the website, and I seen the stuff they was talking about when it came to George Floyd. But I seen like 10, 20 other things, marches that had more to do with the LGBTQ community. And I've been saying that for 3 years, that I was like, okay, so that's not about what I thought it was about. They're more about pushing another agenda that ain't got nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, in my opinion. Because the majority of what you had sourced on your page was not about that. It was about other stuff. So, going back to this Kyrie thing, I'm like, I can understand once I watched that documentary that he posted, if they were saying things in there bad about Jews. But I won't have no understanding if I watch it and they're just speaking on something that goes along the lines of that title. Mm-hmm. Like if it's just about the title, how we were this and we became that, then what's the problem?
That's the part.
He's not saying if they're not saying anything about y'all, he's talking if the documentary is talking about us, then what's the problem?
Are we not allowed to be a people that we can empower? Are we not allowed to be a people that can be able to find more about our history? Because we're the one group, as far as race is concerned, that is not in touch with their history, because our history was taken away from us.
I got a question for them. If it's being revealed that we are a part of you, is that offensive? Mm. Why is that offensive? Mm. You saying it's only exclusive to you of this skin tone? Are you saying that? That's what I'm trying to understand. If the brother just said, hey, look at this, or check this out, and it reveals some information about us being a part of y'all, what's your real problem? What's your real problem? Is it uncovering the fact that skin tone wasn't the only ones that was a part of this Holocaust? Was there a Holocaust before that one too? You know what I mean? So I got a problem with them trying to make things seem like something that is not. Like, if he's not saying anything bad about y'all and he's just saying that, hey, us too, what's the problem? Where's the racist remarks in that? In saying that us too?
Because I would love to be a part of something that's inclusive and not exclusive.
Right. Because if we all brothers, if it turns out that we all brothers, what's the problem? Your army just got bigger. You know what I mean?
If anything.
If that's the way, you know what I mean? If that's the way you want to feel.
I wish I could see the camera. I wish I could see the footage of what people. Trust me, guys. Follow the bouncing ball. But I understand the point of view you're making, and this is what I think about too. What about all the situations and characters that movies and entertainment has done, depicting characters that did not look of the people who they had portraying them?
Right.
Like these Egyptian movies that y'all watch, and they don't match.
Dude, the Moors, when I was growing up, I used to see Moors in movies, and they'd always be like some dirty white folks living in the woods, you know what I mean, worshiping something crazy, and they didn't want to deal with them. And I was like, man, the Moors ain't nothing. Then I found out later on, growing up, the Moors were black people.
Yeah.
The Moors were the ones that helped create and civilize kingdoms and educate them.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't in the woods and they weren't dirty. Yep. They were some of the most prestigious people that ever walked the earth.
So wouldn't that be anti-Moor?
I don't know if they got a word.
But the point I'm making is, you see what the subject matter I'm getting at, because if we're going to play this game of being anti, then we'll do it across the board. Only when if it's truly a lie, not when if it's a truth about something and the truth may hurt some people.
Right.
Or the truth may say that, no, there's more than one person supposed to be at this party. It ain't just your birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? So I think that at that point that people need to stop trying to play the victim of everything because something was said, and versus understand not just your side of it, because it sounds like it's a one-sided situation where they're telling him in order for him to come back, you need to understand our point of view. But did you say anything about understanding where he came from?
All his responses didn't say anything bad about Jewish people.
But my thing is, the things they ask him to do, are you trying to understand him?
Oh, they did let out the 6 things they want him to complete.
They already said they said the things that one thing he got to do, he's got to apologize and denounce the video.
Or, because it was a slash.
It says apologize or denounce. But my thing is, why would you make anybody denounce anything?
Denounce,
you know how big?
What?
Denounce what? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
What did he say?
Like that's the point I'm trying to figure out. Like, denounce what? What are we denouncing? Because my thing is, if we're denouncing, then there's a lot of groups and a lot of people that need to do a lot of denouncing. They have not done that and still will not.
You want him to be Nick Cannon? That was you want? That was y'all trying to coach him into? Y'all want him to say something that, I mean, if anything, I feel like if we're all a part of this human race, let's get that down. That understand that if we all a part of this human race, then if I hurt you, if I say something that hurts you, I'm going to apologize for that.
Absolutely.
Because I don't mean you no harm.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
If I'm educating somebody and you have and we have a misunderstanding, I want to clear that up.
Mm-hmm.
From what I read and saw from him, he did that.
Multiple times he's apologized about it. In his way.
I wasn't trying to hurt nobody.
If anybody know me, knows I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
But again, it's not. It sounds like to me that it's not that they want him to say a certain thing, because I want you to put out a message. And at the end of the day, that's where it's like this whole game. People got to understand that this game that's being played in front of our eyes is not just because.
Are you upholding the values of the ancestors that you're mad about what happened to them? That's the question I have. Are you upholding those same values? Are you keeping them heart what they felt and what their mission was when they walked around this earth? Are you doing that?
I got a question.
A majority of them ain't.
And I got a question to follow up with that. In order for me to be able to get along with you, do I have to denounce my culture and to accept yours?
That's a good question.
In order for me to be accepted in this world, do I have to denounce my true culture, regardless of wherever that truth may be, denounce mine and to accept yours?
Yeah.
In order for us to be able to coexist and not be a mutual thing?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying now? Because I'd rather someone just tell me straight up that's what we want. Then I know how to be able to position myself and conduct myself moving forward. Not this game of, hey, and the publicity is one way, behind the scenes is a totally different narrative. So my thing is, that's the question of the day for me. Do I have to denounce my culture and who I am and accept yours in order for us to be able to coexist?
And they control the narrative so much. We seen one that they turned into a crackhead and said he abandoned something that he truly didn't abandon. He just disagreed with something and he didn't want to do it that way no more. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Dave Chappelle. Mm-hmm. Nick Cannon. You took something that was his away from him. We all saw that. Like it wasn't nothing. You went to his partners and said, hey, you want to do his job? We'll give it to you.
And hallelujah, he got people that was loyal to him.
Yeah. Or that was stand up.
That was stand up and loyal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I listen to DC Young Fly, I listen to him saying that just ain't the kind of dude he is.
But that's good though, based upon his character. I applaud him for that, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for that. That's loyalty too.
Yeah.
Because based upon what I've heard from the other side, I won't go. That's a whole other subject. But there's been other rappers who had an opportunity to prove their loyalty, and they chose the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, like Ash Larry and Charlie Murphy. Hey, I understand you got to work, but some things you just ain't supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Some things ain't God. Hey, rest in power, Charlie Murphy. But I ain't agree with that. Because we wouldn't have known who you was without this man. You would have just been the dude in the background that looked like Eddie. You know what I mean? That's facts. And I'm not pissing on his legacy or nothing like that, but that's just facts. We wouldn't have known. We wouldn't have knew who you was. Nothing about your stories. Kanye losing everything. And I look at things like we're so quick to assassinate each other, but we ain't never mad at the narrative that's being pushed on us. We ain't never got a problem with that. And every time those people get into it, the first people to report, they allow all this stuff to come out. Don't get it twisted. Don't think that we actually have free reign to popularize all the narratives and the posts that get to everybody. Mm-hmm. That's not by coincidence. Mm-hmm. That's not by our doing. That's them.
Absolutely.
Making sure we see it. Look at this fool. Because once y'all get mad at them, we can do whatever we want to do to them.
That's right.
Always. And we allow it. We allow it. Because we don't ever want to go against the machine. Not one time. We don't ever want to. We watch the dude lose everything, and we laugh and make memes about it. That ain't cool. I'm not sharing that.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm not being part of that. So
I'm not gonna rejoice on anybody, regardless of what they've done, of anybody's downfall. I'm not gonna rejoice on them. That's not who I am. Especially, and the thing is that hopefully all these events that's happening make people to start doing some critical thinking.
Yeah.
Think about what's going on. Think about what is happening, what is manifesting as we speak.
Yeah.
And understand that this thing that y'all think that we are living, that it ain't just because, and that it ain't gonna always be what it's gonna be. Like, things are happening, things are changing, things are shifting.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the truth, it seemed like to me, it's starting to become more. It seemed like it's being an issue when people are speaking the truth now about certain things. And I think at the end of the day, what we have to realize is that there's a lot at stake, and that you better get your house in order.
Yeah. And
I say that in the sense of you making sure that you check your energy, you check your mental, you make sure that you check the people around you. You make sure that the people around you genuinely genuinely care about you and who genuinely respect you and your culture, and what comes along with that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, for what I'm gathering, what I'm feeling is that it's just a lot of us apologizing to everybody else, and ain't nobody apologizing to us.
Everybody got reparations.
Everybody got that, and it's just and it bothers me because, and I'm not coming from a victim standpoint. I'm coming from a standpoint of
You
how
are.
is that everybody else gets some type of just reparation or some type of apology or something, sympathy. And then with us, it's like it happened, and we give you a month, and we gave you Martin Luther King, and that's pretty much shut the hell up, and whatever else happens along that, you deal with it. And it's just, at the end of the day, it has to be a fair game.
And at the same time, I will say this. Just because things happen to us, it doesn't mean that we have any right to piss on anybody else.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
My God wouldn't support that. So I don't get behind that. But I haven't seen anybody that's been named be anti. If we just want to talk about what we're going through, what our experience is, that's not negating you.
Yeah, especially
wearing a T-shirt that says, I'm sorry.
Especially talking about our history.
Right.
And if the history leads to this particular aspect of truth that no one knew about, and that here it is, we got the information, we have the intel that proved that this was a reality that did happen, what's the problem in that?
Just like Michael Chase said. He did a whole stand-up based on Black Lives Matter. We're not saying anybody else's life does not matter. What's wrong with saying our lives matter? If we live in a world that kind of depicts that it does not.
It's been proven that we get in the other end of the other end of the stick. Mm-hmm. That we're getting the least amount, especially when it came to pay in these corporate places where we're the least paid. Mm-hmm. How is it that if everything is fair, that certain groups of people are not getting paid what they're supposed to?
Well,
and you're hearing that you heard that in a lot of situations.
Well, we know black women are making bread right now, but we know one particular group has never relinquished being the highest paid. You know what I mean? Their men always get the highest. They always get top dollar. But that's it for me. You know what I mean? That's it, man. I'm saying if you want sympathy, learn to give it. We should all do that.
Because I ain't never seen none of these groups of people that's coming out when all these events happen, when things that happen to us, they don't say nothing. They're silent.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they don't exist. Right. But the moment something that's being touched, that they feel some type of way that's towards their group, then they all come out of nowhere. And it's a cancel culture. And my thing is, like we've been saying, where is that same energy?
Yeah.
Where's that same energy? Like Dave Chappelle talked about in his stand-up. Where's that same energy?
Yeah.
So now we pick and choose the passion. We pick and choose when things should be fair, and we pick and choose when one should not. We playing God now?
Yeah. A lot of people try that. Something else interesting that I've been seeing on the rise here lately. One of the biggest messer-uppers. I'm not even gonna look for a proper word for that. I call this brother a messer-upper. Charleston White. Charleston White is one of the most entertaining dudes on the internet. If you got YouTube and I think they're trying to blackball him on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But hey, man, this is my thing. Just like with Kevin Samuels and Shiraz Ali, instead of trying to make these people like go away, instead of blackballing these people, because they use us to get rid of our people. Mm-hmm. How do we keep, like, how do we, like, not hear what this man's saying? Is he saying something wrong? Mm-hmm. Is he saying something wrong? They can't hear your head, man.
Like, I'm with you, man. I'm listening. Man.
Charleston White has went at the fabric of all the dumb stuff that we've upheld in our community.
I think that what he's saying and the things that he's saying does make sense. He's proven it, right? The problem that I think that that's happening is his actions behind it and how the things he's going about doing it.
His approach.
His approach behind it. If there was a different delivery in how he's going about trying to get this information out, or trying to get people to change their perspective, how they conduct themselves in a way where it's contributing to communities coming together and not killing each other or doing things to destroy it, then that would be totally different.
And marriage. When I heard the brother speak about marriage and partnership, having the right partner, and thinking about the word itself, partner, like, I don't want to get into relationships, but he said something so dope about marriage. It's like, we don't understand what love and commitment really is. We put it all on emotion, when it's really about finding somebody that can go to length with you.
That's real shit.
That's the foundation of marriage. That should be the foundation of marriage. Your God and your character. Your character says that if I say I'm going to do this with you, I'm going to do it with you.
Yeah.
It don't matter how many Instagram models out there or how many girls offer me something. I'm doing this with you. It's about me and you. And once we grasp that, that'll be a better foundation for our children.
They gotta be able to see it in the home.
Yeah.
They gotta be able to see that commitment, that loyalty, that dedication with both sides in the home.
And you can't be selfish.
You can't be selfish, man. You cannot be selfish. And I think that what I feel, based upon everything that's happening, is that we gotta also start taking accountability inside our homes.
Yes.
And I mean that, because meaning that we can't just sit there and say, well, that's just how these kids are, let them go through their phase, because that phase that they're going through can be so detrimental that it may cause them not to be able to come back home to you.
Yeah.
Because this phase that they're going through, it may cause them to be stuck and be incarcerated, where now they got 20 years that's been wasted because they made a dumbass decision because of a phase. This phase may cause them to be able to now, where they may not be able to get into a career or be able to get the job they're looking for, because now you have a felony on your record and you can't be able to.
Have a
record, and no one wants to deal with you.
No.
So my thing is that at the end of the day, we cannot be writing these things out that our kids and that our young adults are doing as a phase. Yes, we did live. Yes, I did some of the things that they did, and yes, it's okay to counsel them depending on the subject matter, but we can't just write off and say that some of the things that they're doing, knowing that's causing harm to themselves or leading them to a path of destruction, that we write it off as just, that's just part of the phase that they're going through, and that they'll figure that shit out and they'll grow out of it.
Or we ignore it.
Or we ignore it, and then what happened is we ignored it, and now that person who we had an opportunity to counsel, to be able to speak life, to be able to talk to them about things, and that we allowed them to just continue to go down that path they go, and then now they gone.
We keep trying to cope with that. We keep trying to set up all these boys and girls clubs, all these non-profits to try to minister and mentor all of these young men and young women out here on the street. The problem is you're never really going to attack the issue until you attack the issue. And I love what Charleston White said in particular about family, because if you have that, you don't need all of that. If we start putting more focus on, you cannot do this shit by yourself.
I'm a firm believer.
You can do it. You can try, and you might have something decent, but why gamble?
We're not meant to live this world by ourselves. And nobody else lived their world. And here's the thing about it. I'm going to ask you a question, Chief. Do you know any groups of people outside of us that have that type of mindset?
They're independent.
The independent mindset where I just me by myself. I never known it. Every group I've known people to where it's a community, it takes a village, and that it was that type of mindset.
The original concept came from us.
And it came from us. That's what I'm saying. It came from us. And there's some reason it died. Well, we know why. That's a whole other topic. And it died.
Yeah.
Strategically.
Black men deserve to grow old too. That's what Young Dolph's fiance said at his funeral. When I read that this week, I felt that. I felt that.
You're right.
We deserve to grow old too. And how do we do it? Some of the most successful people in history, I say it time and time again. Some of the most successful men, most of the successful men, most of the successful women were involved in a union. They had a family structure. They had a foundation that meant, hey, if I'm like this and the people around me are like this, our kids are safe. Our kids gonna grow up right. If our kids, if mama and daddy, if mama's not on time with daddy and daddy's not on time with mama, our kids grow up off schedule. Black ice. You gotta know that. We gotta come to like some kind of realization that this is not how it's supposed to be for us. Yeah, you can be a single parent. I did it. I didn't like it because there's things in my daughter's life that I missed. Some lessons that she didn't learn because I wasn't available. Because I also had to provide for her. And if I was tag teaming with somebody, there would have been more influence coming from our home and not so much as her peers.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. And then also she could have got something from a female perspective.
Yeah.
From a mother's perspective.
But now we got the twerkulators. We got the girls that want to, that's what I call them, twerkulators. They want to be seen. They want to be fun girls. And they all about trying to get what's coming to them. And we got the dudes out here that want to be street, that want to be a part of gangs, and they trying to get whatever coming to them too.
All because of clout.
Ain't none of that healthy. What Charleston said about gangs pierced my heart. For the last 50 and 60 years, we've been upholding that. We've been okay with that. That being a part of our culture. That ain't a part of our culture. That ain't a part of us. That didn't come from us. That come from fatherless sons, fatherless daughters. A community that was hurting. That come from safety issues. And they turn that around where I want to inflict the same pain that I have. I don't want to be alone no more, so what? I'm going to join something that makes me a damn criminal.
Well, I can make money to feed my family.
There's a profile on me now at the police department because of my affiliation with this. That ain't our culture. Our culture was family. Our culture was our history. Our culture was about us being better. Fighting to get the same spot at the counter that they can get. Mm-hmm. You serve him coffee and a burger. I want to be able to sit at that same counter and do it. I want to be able to sit on this bus and sit where I want to sit, not at the back.
I want to be able to get my food from the front door, not to go to the back door.
Yeah, that's our culture. We want to be treated as equals. Mm-hmm. But you can't tell me that our culture is, hey, I'm going to tell you how to flip that and get that. I'm going to show you how to take that. That ain't our culture. Mm-hmm. We're fair and loving people.
And forgiving, too.
Yeah.
We're forgiving.
And sometimes we shouldn't be. But we are. I don't know too many of us that don't love God in whatever sense. You know what I mean?
But in a sense, though, for you to have some type of forgiveness, that's a sense of godliness, too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think that at the end of the day, people have to realize that. Only thing I just say is that at the end of the day, man, we gotta give a damn about us and not expect anybody else to give a damn about us.
And by giving a damn about us, we gotta stop upholding bull crap.
Yep, and stop accepting the bull crap and start accepting people that's gonna do right, that's gonna bring upon a positive energy, that's gonna bring about the togetherness, unity, healthy relationships. You know, that's what we need. And not allow anything or anyone to pay or to be able to infiltrate that, and because everybody else have it.
And to put a button on his point that I heard that I got from him, in the last 50, 60 years, what have gangs and drug dealers done for us as a people? What have they done for us that was constructive and productive? What was progressive about it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
They've taken all our leaders and turned them into rappers. They've taken all our all our businessmen and turned them into drug dealers.
There's so much more to us than that.
Yeah. Yeah. We way more than that. Way more. So that's been our 2 cents, man. You can spend them or save them. I got my boy Ty here with me. Love you, dog.
Likewise, brother. Always appreciate it. Listen, y'all. Comment, man. Comment and subscribe. We would love to know your thoughts as far as what we're talking about. As far as, and also if there's any information that you have that you want to share, shine light on, then please do that. Again, we're not the only voice. There's millions of voices, and there's a lot of people that have something to say. So say it. Comment.
Send us a message. We on social media. You can send us messages on Cut Different on Instagram, YouTube. I found out we can do a handle now.
Mm-hmm.
You can do @Cut Different podcast. You can do our Facebook page. Go ahead and talk to us. Talk to us. And as usual, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. And instead of telling y'all I love y'all, because I do, I'm going to tell you that I pray for your strength and I pray for your salvation. We in this together. We out of here. It's been Cut Different. Check us out on all social media platforms and all streaming services. I feel like I'm doing a commercial.
#Cut Different.
Yes. #Cut Different. Share, like, subscribe. Have these conversations amongst yourselves. We out of here.